the 4 matches that are to be played today. The first one, of course, Russia and Uruguay will clash to settle the breach in the group stage after reaching the round of 16 following wins in both their matches in Group A. Though the match is a dead rubber and will not change who goes ahead, it can alter the standings in Group A since both teams are locked at 6 points each. Russia has won 6 of their last 8 matches against Uruguay, though at the World Cup stage. Both have won a match each. The hosts are in top form after beating Saudi Arabia and Egypt with powerful scores. While it beat Saudi 5-0 in the tournament opener, the Egyptians were handed a 3-1 drubbing. Meanwhile, on the other hand, Uruguay looked sloppy in their first game against Egypt, but scrapped through in the final minutes. It looked much stronger in the game against Saudi, taking an early lead but failing to complete several advantages. Russia versus Uruguay, of course, a 7:30 p.m. start. Both the matches of this group will be played together at 7:30 p.m. We'll talk about Russia versus Uruguay. Joining me in our studio right now is Rakesh Rao, Deputy Sports Editor of The Hindu, and as always, Jyoti Parit, former Indian national player. Thank you to the both of you for joining me here in our studio.
Thank you so much for having us. Thank you.
Rakesh, let me begin with you first. Russia versus Uruguay. Russians have surprised everyone with the kind of with the variety of football that they have played so far in the tournament. What do you expect in this match?
Well, Uruguay has to be careful because Russia at home is looking menacingly strong. I mean, it's not that they are so strong. Backed by the home support and the confidence with which they have shown that they are a force to reckon with, at least at the league stages. Of course, Saudi Arabia, they were expected to win, though they are ranked a notch below them, one of the weakest teams in the competition. But look at the way they've grown. The media was against them. The entire, the views on the eve of the World Cup opener was that, listen, they are going to get dragged. I mean, they're getting trolled for no reason, actually. And look at the way they answered their critics back. 5-0. Some of the goals were actually classy ones. It wasn't that of course, we know that Saudi Arabia was a weak team. At least on that day, they defended very poorly. Their defenders let them down seriously. But if you look at them as a side, see, any team with confidence playing at home, and they are not expected to win. Now, that makes them even more dangerous.
Right.
If you're weighed down by expectations, then the other team is okay. that they feel that, all right, they are also under pressure. Here, the pressure is on the fancied team, which is like Uruguay. So I expect it to be a close contest. Not as easy as Uruguay would have thought it was at the start of the league.
Indeed.
But yes, now that Russia has grown in confidence, we can see a different picture.
Can we expect a free-flowing match today, Jyoti, because both of them have qualified to the next round? The pressure, as Rakesh has just said, is off Russia at the moment. And even Uruguay, they know what they have to do in this particular match. So can we expect a free-flowing match today?
Definitely, it's going to be pacey, and both teams are going to be going for it. It's a matter of topping the group. Nothing to lose for both sides. Russia, of course, with the home support, but Uruguay have something to prove. They haven't been, at par with what you would expect from a quality side like that. So it's going to be a very interesting match, and I think it's going to be quite close.
Win or lose, they're most probably going to play either Portugal or Spain. Depends. It remains to be seen how that group really pans out. But both tough teams for both these teams in the next round.
Either ways, whether you top, you come second. Next round is going to be tougher, and all the best teams are going through. And with each round, whether you come first, you come second, you're going to be faced with tough teams.
Luis Suarez, one of the key players to watch out for as far as this particular match is concerned. You're surprised with the way he's played in the World Cup thus far?
See, he has proved that he's such an opportunist. I mean, give him half a chance and he converts it. And he has lived up to his reputation because, there have been times when we have seen that, reputed players representing sides which do not have a lot of quality or really branded sort of names. Those teams and individual struggles, like for Portuguese side, there's only one man who has carried them through so far. But this doesn't happen very often. If you look at the history of World Cup, I mean, if you just go back to, say, 1986, that was probably the last time when one man single-handedly took them through because, I mean, thanks.
It's interesting that you put up your hand there and said single-handedly, pun intended, I'm sure. But
certainly, yes. But then, after that, if you see 1986 and now, you don't remember individuals taking their team through it. It's been like, if you see Italy, Germany, France, whichever team that has won the World Cup.
It has been a team effort.
It's been a fantastic team effort. So that is where I'm saying teams with individual brilliance, I don't see them going too far. Be Argentina or even, Portugal. At some point, you run into a team because let's not forget it's a team sport at the end of the day.
Indeed, it is a team sport. And talking about team sports, of course, let's look at the other match of the day. Saudi Arabia will play Egypt in their last group match on Monday. The two will play for an honourable adieu as both have already been eliminated after losing their first two matches in Group A. This will be the first match between the two sides in 19 years. They last met in the 1999 Confederation Cup where Saudi Arabia had given Egypt a 5-1 drubbing. For Egypt, it will be its first ever meeting with an Asian side in a World Cup. The World Cup for both the sides began with a defeat. While Russia defeated Saudi 5-0 in their tournament opener, Egypt had a narrow 1-0 loss to Uruguay after the South American side scored a last-minute goal. The misery continued in the second round of group stage as well, with host Russia coming strong and beating Egypt 3-1, while Saudi Arabia lost 1-0 to Uruguay. Jyoti, as far as this match is concerned, both teams are going to play for their honour, they're going to play for pride. And we can expect a good match.
Yeah, it's always from the heart when you're playing for pride, and they have a point to prove. Both teams, they want to go back with some respect, some joy to their fans who've come all the way to Russia to watch them, and yeah, they'll be eager to prove a point today. So even though it's not doesn't have any bearing on whether they go through or not, I think they're going to play the best football they can.
And Rakesh, as far as this particular match is concerned, both the teams are out of the tournament. Do you believe that this gives the coach a chance to experiment with the team, really, do you think, or he's going to go with the same lineup?
Not really. See, because as she, like rightly said that, you want to go back with a win. And I, for one, don't believe that there's something called playing for pride. Every time you go out as a sportsman, you play for pride. That is a given. There's not that, okay, you've lost everything, but you want to go back with a win. Even if you take it to be the first match, pride is still involved. You are playing against the world champion, pride is still, it is still there. So, pride being what it is and how important it is in life, you still go out there and give your best. So here, whether it is a rank underdog like Saudi Arabia. Saudi Arabia was not expected to be in the top two from the pool in any case. They somehow knew that they were pitted against stronger teams. Here, when they find against a team which was originally supposed to be in the top two, and Russians, pipped them, at the last minute. But for Saudi Arabia, it will be a matter of going out, and even if they get a draw of Egypt, that will be something for them.
Sure.
A big takeaway for them as they leave Russia.
Okay, a draw is a great result as far as Saudi Arabia is concerned, is what Rakesh is saying. Moving on to the other game of the evening, of course, it's a late evening start here in India at 11:30 p.m. where Portugal will take on Iran in a must-win game of their league stage later tonight. At the same time that Spain takes on Morocco. They are currently tied with Spain at the top of Group B with 4 points each. A win against Iran will get them through to the round of 16. Iran, on the other hand, looks solid when they beat Morocco before going down fighting 1-0 against Spain.
Cristiano Ronaldo and the rest of Portugal World Cup squad trained on Sunday ahead of the last Group B clash with Iran, the match that will decide who advances through to the next round. Portugal sits tied with Spain on 4 points, while Iran is right behind on 3 points. Portugal has looked good but have been tested at the back line, especially in the game against Morocco, who opened up its defence on few occasions and looked like scoring an equaliser. Thanks largely to the brilliance of Ronaldo, who has scored 4 goals in the tournament so far, of which 3 has come against Spain in a stunning 3-3 draw. This will be second World Cup clash between the two sides after 2006 World Cup, where the Europeans had come out victorious by 2-0. Even there, Ronaldo had scored along with Deco. Meanwhile, Portuguese won 3 of the 4 matches against any Asian side. The last loss against them came in 2002 World Cup group game against a co-host South Korea. On the other hand, Iran has remained winless in the 7 matches against any European side in the World Cup. The Iranian team is currently led by former Portugal coach Carlos Queiroz, who will be looking to secure this spot in the last 16. Bureau Report, Raj Sabha TV.
Well, Portugal versus Iran at 11:30 p.m. Group B match where Spain and Portugal are level on points with 4 apiece, and then there's Iran, of course, with 3 points in that particular group. The match for you as far as the day is concerned, Jyoti, Iran versus Portugal?
Definitely. This is the game that everyone's eagerly looking forward to tonight, because it's hard to imagine that even though Portugal has played well and, drawn 1 and won 1, they still have a chance of going out tonight if Iran can, play their best and win tonight. So it's going to be it's very interesting, but I would expect Portugal to rise to the occasion tonight.
Portugal or Ronaldo?
That's a good one. Ronaldo and his team.
Portugal will have to be careful as far as the Iranians are concerned, because the Iranians have won 1 match and they were quite solid against Spain as well. They have had a goal ruled out. They had several chances in that particular match.
Pretty unlucky, I must say.
Yeah, very unlikely. So unlucky, yes. Yeah. But what can we expect as far as this game is concerned?
See, Iran has its plans chalked out very clearly. Keep Ronaldo in check, because the rest of the guys haven't done enough. So Ronaldo 4, Portugal 4. That is what the score looks like right now. Each time, the team has scored, it's only one man who has scored. So going by that trend, of course, it's not going to continue, but then the fact of the matter is Iran can definitely do that, that they can keep this one man in check, ensure that the defense, as solid as it is, can keep some of the strikers back. I mean, anybody who's playing up front, if you have the midfielders trying to take over from what Ronaldo is best at, because if he's checked properly, then somebody will have to put his hand up and say, okay, today, could be my day. Yeah. So Iran has to be wary of that kind of a backlash when it suddenly comes, because Portuguese, the way they play, there'll be sudden bursts of attacks. I mean, if they know that Ronaldo is chained for the evening, they will definitely have to look for plan B. And that plan B can be taking the Iranian defense by surprise. It has to be in
plan B that Rakesh is talking about, Jyoti. I mean, are the other Portuguese good enough to execute this plan B? Because like he said, everything about Portugal has been about Ronaldo.
Well, they haven't showed us that so far, because everything has been about feeding Ronaldo, and he has been getting really involved. But as Rakesh said, if he can be controlled tonight, the others will really have to step up their game, because it's going to depend on them. And of course, it's hard to keep Ronaldo down, but it's one man, and it's an Iranian side who's showed us that they can defend.
Indeed, it's an Iranian side that has showed us that they can defend and they can go deep into this particular tournament. It remains to be seen what will happen in that match. But looking at the other Group B match, Spain will face Morocco in their last group game tonight. The game will decide Spain's march ahead into the round of 16. A loss in this match will leave them at the mercy of goal differences and the result of the other match being played simultaneously.
Even though it is a dead rubber for Morocco, who's already been eliminated from the World Cup, Spain would be eyeing a big victory to float through to the second round. With 4 points, they are tied with Portugal in Group B, but just ahead of Iran, who is on 3 points. A draw may sail Spain through, given Portugal does not lose to Iran, but any other combination of results may just complicate the permutations in Group B.
Muchas veces se tiende a relajarse por un tercer partido y nosotros no podemos. Nosotros tenemos que estar con las luces muy abiertas, los ojos muy abiertos, saber que nadie nos va a regalar nada y lo que tengamos que conseguir lo haremos a través de nuestro trabajo y de nuestro esfuerzo y de hacer las cosas bien, ¿no?
The Moroccans will be playing for pride and will try to make it hard for Spain to come out on the top.
Dans ce troisième match, mais il faut accepter la réalité, il faut se concentrer sur ce troisième match et sauver notre honneur, puisqu'aujourd'hui il n'y a plus que ça à sauver.
Morocco was ousted after 2 straight losses they suffered against Iran and Portugal. On the other hand, the 2010 world champions haven't looked in the top form but have played with composure and grit, overcoming the out-of-field events right at the start of their World Cup campaign. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
Spain versus Morocco at 11:30 p.m. Tonight. Of course, on paper, Spain clearly are favourites as far as this match is concerned. But at the end of the day, it's a World Cup match. Anything can happen in the World Cup. But, you know, they've had issues with their coaches, last-minute change in coach and everything else. But at the end of the day, they have delivered on the biggest stage, Rakesh, as far as Spain is concerned.
They've shown what professionalism is all about. Just 48 hours before the start of the World Cup, they had their guys sacked. And because see, it's a unit. And that man has given them something to work on. So you just have to remember that and go on. And the new man also hasn't tried to do too many changes. Because, I mean, he's wise enough to understand that you don't come and impose yourself just by taking over the team at the World Cup. You don't do that. So the plans were in place. And these are a set of professionals. I mean, you know, at least there are 5-6 names which are like, they don't have to be guided. They've been there long enough. They've played, you know, a certain number of World Cup matches already, so they know what needs to be done. And now, today, if we look at the side's mental state or the way they're looking at a side which is definitely beatable, which is already out of contention, so they are going to come very hard at Spain. They also know that, because Morocco has very little to lose.
Sure.
But as I said, even a draw for a team which is out of contention, they can take away that. But that won't be easy, because we are talking about Spain, one of the finest sides. And I'm looking at a multi-goal margin here, not just a one-goal margin.
So what would be the scoreline, do you think?
2 to 3 goals, without taking one.
Okay, 2-0 or 3-0?
2-0 or 3-0.
2-0 or 3.
Yeah.
Jyoti?
That's what I'm looking at.
Yeah, I think I can expect a clean sheet for Spain, and definitely goals. A lot of goals today. They want to, because...
A lot of goals would be...
Also, you know, they would... What if Portugal win? And they'd want to go through on goal difference. So they're also thinking that way. So if they're going to go out there, they want to get as many goals as they can.
And they would want to avoid Russia at the end of the day, because the home team seems to be in stunning form.
Yes, definitely.
And you know, if talking about Spain, what do you think is their weak link in this tournament?
Well, their midfield's been really strong. Their strike has been good. If anything, it's the defense line, which is slightly older. I wouldn't say they're old or over the hill, but definitely older. But with that comes experience. You know, Ramos is as fast as anyone out there right now. Piqué is, you know, slowed down. He's not what he used to be, of course, speed-wise. But yeah, if it's anything, it's the back line. But that's also marginally.
Okay. The defense is suspect, is what Jyoti is saying as far as Spain is concerned. That seems to be their problem. We'll wait and see what happens, of course, in the matches that are to take place in just a few minutes. But we'll slip into a short break. On the other side, we'll take a look at what happened in the matches last evening. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
देखिए विशेष मेरे साथ आज शाम 7:30 बजे सिर्फ राज्यसभा टीवी पर।
Watch the big picture with me, Frank Rausen Pereira, at 9:30 p.m.
Welcome back. You're watching Rajya Sabha Television. Well, Colombia celebrated a vital win and eliminated Poland at the Kazan Arena last night. Colombia scored a 3-0 victory to grab their Group H fate, even as Poland's 2018 FIFA World Cup dreams were crushed. Both teams came into this match under pressure after suffering defeats in their respective openers.
Radamel Falcao scored his first World Cup goal as Colombia scored an impressive victory over a lackluster Poland side, also dashing the European team's hopes of reaching the last 16. Yerry Mina nodded in a cross from James Rodriguez shortly before half-time to put the South Americans ahead. Falcao then broke through in the second half before driving a low strike into the far corner. Juan Cuadrado then cemented his team's lead, finishing James's pass behind the Polish defense.
Juan Cuadrado scores It was a much improved performance by Colombia following the disappointing 2-1 defeat by Japan in their Group H opener, giving their fans hope of at least reaching the quarterfinals. Poland disappointed once again after having lost their group opener to Senegal. Robert Lewandowski struggled to get the ball throughout, going closest in the final few minutes when a long-range effort was tipped over by David Ospina. Poland cannot now catch up either with Japan or Senegal, who have 4 points from 2 games. Colombia have 3 points and a win against Senegal will get them the top spot. Devraj Shukla's report for Rajya Sabha TV.
Well, a great result as far as Colombia is concerned, keeping their World Cup hopes alive. Rakesh, Poland out of the tournament, something that people wouldn't have expected at the start. Yeah. And now Japan and Senegal are in contention.
See, I'm quite excited about Japan because the way they played against Colombia, and I think that perhaps woke up that side. And the way Colombians turned out yesterday, I mean, the way they turned up and the way they turned things around, which was brilliant. They didn't give Poland much of a chance. Whatever, every time they breached the wall, they looked like scoring. And 3-0 is a handsome margin which they needed.
3-0 indeed is a handsome margin. Colombians have arrived. Jyoti, do you think on the World Cup stage this time?
They were very impressive yesterday, especially those front four. James, Cuadrado, Quintero and Falcao, they were on fire. The way they're working, I can see them going quite far.
Sure, all right. Colombia will go far is what Jyoti is suggesting. Next match is crucial for them when they take on Senegal. But in the meantime, of course, Japan and Senegal remain well placed to reach the knockout stage of the World Cup after an entertaining 2-2 draw in Ekaterinburg. Sadio Mane put Senegal ahead from close range after an awful mistake by Eiji Kawashima. The ball flew past the Japanese keeper as he attempted a punch clearance and got Mane who put it in. But Japan leveled before half-time through Takashi Inui's curling finish. Well, the team missed a chance to go ahead when Yuya Osako hit the crossbar. Soon, 19-year-old defender Moussa Wagué appeared to have sealed Senegal's second straight Group H win with a fine finish from an angle. But Japan had not given up yet, and substitute Keisuke Honda salvaged a point for Japan moments after coming on. Japan and Senegal have 4 points after 2 matches, while Group H rivals Poland are out of the tournament. Well, Rakesh, surprised with the way Japan have played in this tournament, or do you think expected of them?
I'm delighted. Yeah, because, Japan actually nobody expected, because people expected Senegal and Japan to be 3rd and 4th. So, Poland out of the way now. So, obviously, there will be one surprise team for sure. Talking about Japan, yes, because see, they have the flair. That is what you don't see in most of the Asian sides, You see Saudi Arabia, you see Iran and all. They have a different way of playing, though they all engage coaches from Europe and stuff. But Japanese style is completely different. Short passes, quick, and the way they speed up the game, and they can switch gears beautifully. So I think that is something that I personally enjoy, and it's great to see them on the verge of making it to the top 16.
Sure. Jyoti, you expected Senegal to win, and everyone else too expected Senegal to win and win easily against Japan. But Japan have managed to draw with them. Great for Asian football, isn't it?
It's excellent for Asian football, and just the way the grit they showed yesterday. They came back, they never gave up. Senegal, even though they kept taking the lead, Japan just felt, this is a game that we're in it, and they didn't give up till the end, even hitting the crossbar, and this is a game they could have won technically. So, and
comfortably placed as well to go through to the next round because they're playing Poland next.
Exactly. So they have it easier, I think, in the last round, whereas Senegal still have to play Colombia, who are on fire.
Indeed, Colombia is on fire at the moment. Exciting matches coming up as far as the third and final group stage matches are concerned. But talking about the group stage, let's talk about the first match of the day that was played yesterday. England stormed through to the round of 16, scoring the biggest victory of this World Cup after they beat a hapless Panama 6-1 in their second game of Group G. English skipper Harry Kane scored a hat-trick, becoming the top scorer of the tournament with 5 goals to his name.
It's the same way.
Harry Kane's superb hat-trick gave England its best World Cup performance ever. A powerful final scoreline of 6-1 may have looked a little less given the Old Blighty were 5-0 by half-time. The result also knocked Panama out of the tournament.
For the England captain, only the third English player to score a hat-trick.
It all started with a header from a corner by John Stones, followed by a penalty from Captain Kane and a beautiful strike from the edge of the box by Jesse Lingard. Harry Kane, now the tournament's top scorer with 5 goals, completed his hat-trick with a shot from Ruben Loftus-Cheek in the 62nd minute. Kane also became just the third English player to score a hat-trick in a World Cup game, following Geoff Hurst in the 1966 final and Gary Lineker against Poland in the 1986 tournament. Panama pulled a goal back in the 78th minute through Felipe Baloy, which was also the team's first ever goal at a World Cup. The result also meant England goes into round of 16 with 1 match to go against Belgium. That will be a mouth-watering affair given the roaring performances that both teams have put up so far. Rajadev's report for Rajya Sabha TV.
England there winning 6-1 against Panama, the debutants in this particular World Cup. Rakesh, 6-1 is a massive scoreline as far as a World Cup game is concerned. But they still don't seem to be sending out major signals as far as being the best team in the World Cup is concerned.
England as a side, if you see, for more than 50 years now, since 1966 was the only time they won the World Cup. So if you go back also, you see that, we often talk about the EPL and the cricket county and stuff like that. But look at their sides over the years. County hasn't helped their cricket team become the world champion. EPL hasn't helped them so much because it's so hyped. But the English soccer hasn't gained from it, And that is reflected every 4 years in the World Cup. Now, if you talk about this World Cup, or at least the start of this World Cup, British fans, the hardcore British fans were also not very optimistic of the team going beyond the round of 16.
Right.
Round of 16, yes, because they were in the weakest groups of all the 8 groups. Undoubtedly the weakest. Tunisia and Panama to deal with. So absolutely there's no question of England not beating these two teams.
Sure.
The only difference was the margin, and they actually showed that a 5-goal margin was good enough.
Jyoti, how far do you expect England to go in this tournament?
To be honest, the real test is going to be in the next game. And once we see them play Belgium, can we really gauge how good this team really is? So I'm waiting to see them play next to even sort of comment on that yet.
Probably not the strongest team that has come to the World Cup as far as England is concerned. They've had stronger teams in the past, but yet seem to be doing reasonably well.
Yeah, very young team, inexperienced. They're doing well at club level, of course, these players, but not so much. They haven't really represented the country that much. But obviously they're going to go to the next round, but it's going to be interesting to see how far they go.
Okay, it is going to be interesting to see how far they go and what the English media thinks of the team itself. Thank you, Jyoti and Rakesh, for joining me on the program and sharing your perspectives with me. Pleasure. That's it from me. See you again next time. We'll be back again same time tomorrow.
Sports, the spirit of India.